Life speaks. It speaks through struggles and success, through music and messages, the preconceived and the unexpected. Whether you are in the depths of the valley or in the midst of your mountaintop experience, everyone needs to be encouraged from time to time. Here we will share stories of strength, testimonies of triumph, verses of victory, observations, and information meant to touch the heart and uplift the soul, to keep you on your path of purpose and navigate this thing called life with power and authority. This is Andrea Hines, and I'm your host for When Life Speaks, here on ALH Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Streaming Inspirational Broadcast Network. I am glad you accepted the invitation to join us tonight. There's something in this broadcast just for you, and if it is going to be a blessing to your life, it will be to someone else as well. So share, tag, start a watch party, and invite someone you know to join us. Then turn down the volume of life and get ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you'll speak life. Yay! Good evening, everyone. We just gonna start with a little laughter. Francine is shaking her head at me. She's like, what is your problem tonight? But I tell you what, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that Francina is here with me. And I'm glad for those of you who will join us tonight, who will come in on the broadcast. Hey there, Angela Cooks Oliphant, our South Carolina connection. Good to have you with us tonight. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And I tell you what, we are coming down to the end of the year.
Yes.
I can't even believe it. But what a year it has been. So many things have been happening. So many things have been going on. Hey there, Bernice. Some good, some not so good, but all God.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. That's all I can say. God has been in the midst of us and he keeps us. I tell you what, I am so grateful to know him, to have a relationship with him, and to know that we are doing something to bring the kingdom into the earth, because every show that we have, we hope that it is encouraging. We look forward to being inspiring and just sharing life with you. And that feels good to me. Francina, how you been doing?
I've been doing pretty good. No complaints. God has been amazing.
I know you have had some blessings.
Yes.
Unexpected blessings. Yeah, and we love those.
Yes, indeedy. At the right time. At the right time.
God always knows what we need, and he always knows when we need it. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Well, we've had some interesting programs, and we started out, actually, we had some interesting programs about relationships, having healthy relationships. We've talked about mother-daughter relationships. Lynn and I were on together talking about that. We have talked about different types of parenting. That was an interesting program. Yes. Different types of parenting. And within that, we also talked about what it meant to be a godly parent. And that is really, really important. We can never leave him out of the equation. And last week, we were talking about ending this year and going into the next year, going into 2022, which we will be doing in a matter of days. And what we need to do to strengthen the family. Because the enemy wants to destroy the family. He wants to take our peace. He wants to destroy the family. And so many families are broken. So many family relationships are broken that we couldn't get it all in on one program. So we decided that we would come back and continue that program. But Lynn wanted to be with us, and Lynn only comes like maybe every other week. So next week we will be continuing talking about strengthening the family. And if you didn't have an opportunity to participate in that, is if somebody is coming in late or coming in on the replay, and you wanted to weigh in on that and did not have a chance to, you do have a chance. Just send something to speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. That's speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. And we will include your comments next week. But tonight I got Francina here with me, and we decided that we just kind of let you in on our conversation because we had been talking about, you know, we want to strengthen the family, we want to strengthen relationships, but it begins with us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started talking about what we can do, what we do as individuals to strengthen ourselves, to put us in a position where we can be whole and where we can be healthy. And that's really where we want to go tonight. Francina, what were your first thoughts when we started talking about that?
Well, I have to look at me. Where's my mindset? What's going on in my life and how I'm handling it. And to be honest, there were some things that I wasn't handling, in a way that I felt was healthy and necessary for me. But I've reached out to try to seek some help to help me, with trying to understand maybe some unhealed and issues and stuff that I did not deal with. And so that's where I'm at. But like I said, and you got to have the right mindset to want to be able to take on these changes and to understand, where you need to go.
How hard was that?
It was because at first, you don't think you need any help,
right?
But I found that things were starting to get a little overwhelming and frustrated within myself. And so I had to pray on it, and I had to go to God, and I had, to ask, which direction to go in, and I had to be open, as we discussed,
right,
to go ahead and seek the help, which I did. And I've had 2 sessions, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Wow, I should have did this long time ago, but it's one day at a time, and dealing with issues, once at a time.
How did you find the person? Was it a referral? Did you? How did you? Because I think that's one of the most challenging thing is to find the right person.
Well, I was talking with my financial advisor.
Okay.
On some financial dealings, and just got to sharing, a little bit of what's been going on with me. And in discussing that, she said that, and I told her, I said, I'm looking to, maybe I may need to go to some counseling. And she said she had a couple of friends that she thought was really good, but that, I'm gonna give you the information and y'all connect and you get with them and see, if they work for you. Well, she referred me to one lady in Pacific, and I didn't tell you, but she's number one, she's a nurse.
Oh wow, okay.
She is a Christian,
okay,
but she's also a life coach.
Okay.
And so the approach and how she talked with me, it was like, okay, God, and it was like I had to do the work, not her, me. But there were questions that she actually had me to get in a place, in a space where, like, I had to act like I was on top of the cloud, going up to where God was, because I guess dealing with my subconscious and have to deal with that. And then she asked me some questions, and she was writing stuff down. And then, so when we went back to it, I had to answer the questions or why I was feeling the way I was feeling.
Wow, okay.
And I did that, and it was amazing. I had no idea, of some of the stuff that was coming up and coming out. But I had to first. She had to ask me, "Are you willing to be open?" I was like, "Are you willing to be open?" And so, she said, "Think about it." She said, "Think about it, for a minute." I guess because of the work that was going to be done, there were some things that may come out, so
that you had been hiding for a while.
Yes, so she did ask me to be open. So I thought about it, and I was like a little bit to God, but I knew that I wanted to if I wanted to be healed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that for those of you who don't know the significance of this counselor or therapist being a nurse is because Francine was in nursing for how many years?
45.
45 years. I couldn't make it through being a candy striper. I was a candy striper for a week, and I thought, no, this is just not for me. But for 40 some years, and was an amazing nurse because we worked for the same agency, and she was just an amazing caregiver, and there are and built some great relationships from those folks that you cared for. Now, you didn't tell me in the beginning or earlier when we were talking about this, you didn't tell me that she had asked you about being open.
No.
If you could be open, but I'm smiling because when we started talking about what can we do to make sure that we end this year and begin 2022 healthy and whole, what we talked about was that we have to be open.
Right.
We have to be open. So that's why I was smiling about that. And open means different things to different people. And when we talked about open, we also talked about it from the standpoint that when you reach a certain age, being open gets to be challenging because you get set in your ways. And everybody says, oh, you're set in your ways. It's hard for you to change. And, it's hard for you to do some things different. And being open, when we were talking earlier, is essential to moving forward and moving forward healthy and whole. We have to be open to opportunities. We have to be open to change. And one of the things that you were saying was especially the change in our mindset. We have to change the way that we look at things. We can't continue to look at them the same way that we did when we were 20 or 30 or whatever. We have to understand that the world is changing and we have to change with it. And one of the most difficult things that we have to be open to, Bernice is giving you congratulations, Francie.
Thank you, Bernice.
One of the things that we have to be open to is technology. It is, guess what, guys? It is not going away.
Nope.
Technology is not going away. And we have to figure out a way. We may never really embrace it, but we need to be able to work in it and work through it in order to get some things done, because it's just different. And we were talking about the difference with phones, how we used to have a rotary phone. Then when we got the Princess phone, you were really doing something when you had the Princess phone. I don't think anybody hardly even has a landline anymore.
Not many. I do.
I know. I
have a fax machine, so I need my landline.
Yeah,
but a lot of people don't know. They've done away with it.
Don't have a landline. And then I remembered the early cell phones, which they were huge. They were just huge, but you had your cell phone and then you had your flip phone. You had a flip phone, got used to the flip phone and everything. And now we got the iPads and the Androids and all of that. And I was talking, it wasn't even talking to somebody. We had gone to see Superman. We had gone to see Superman. This was a while back when the Superman movie had come out. And Clark Kent would go into the phone booth. And I said something to somebody younger, and I said something about the phone booth, and they said, what is that? What are you talking about?
Wow.
And I thought, I felt like the little boy at Home Alone. You don't know what it's
No, they don't.
No. But we evolved with that. and we changed with that, and we became accustomed to the new. And we have to become accustomed to the new because some things are simply going away. It doesn't mean that they were bad, but there are better ways to do things. There are quicker ways to do things. There are faster ways to do things. And we have to be open. We have to be open to the changes around us. We have to be open to the changes around us. So we started looking at the word open. And we broke it down, OPEN. So what were the O things? The O things um, that open meant. And you mentioned some things. Um, well, you tell what you were talking about when we talked about O, the letter O. We talked about
opportunities. What else we
talked
talking
about opportunity, open to new ideas. We had to be open to the new ideas
and concepts, open to new concepts.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to ask something
Uh-huh.
because we're dealing with a lot of seniors, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
older ones that they don't have. A lot of them don't have access to computers,
Mm-hmm.
or to the internet unless their family members, get it for them. And then when we were talking patience, how
Yep.
people,
Mm-hmm.
have to take time, and a lot of the young ones, they don't have the time to take with you, so that frustrates them. And I was thinking about it yesterday, and I'm trying to figure out what the word was when you used to do something that was a tradition.
Yeah, tradition.
And so you get set in that way, and I'm like, well, for me, I see computers a lot more difficult than I did with the changes with the phones and
Mm-hmm.
all that. To me, this is more advanced, but it's more difficult, and I still don't have it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still, learning, as I use it more often. But again, yes, but I need someone that's going to have the time, and people don't have time. People rushing,
Well, now there are a couple of things with that, and I think number one, we have to know and understand how we learn because some people are hands-on learners,
Me.
and some people are, just tell me, let me make some notes and let me go back to it. But the issue of patience, sometimes we don't always look for the resources because there are some resources. There are resources at senior, um, what do I want to call it? Senior centers. At senior centers, where they have specific classes for, if you are just starting out, if you're just at the point of having a computer or needing to use a computer. The thing is, and there are some young people, I know some young people, I've run across some young people who know how to teach me. And does it take patience? Absolutely, does it take patience? But here's what I can't do. Um, Let me see. We'll use your phone. Hold your phone. I can't have somebody say to me, I'm having trouble with this. And they say, okay.
And they go ahead.
And they take it from me and they do what needs to be done and give it back. And I have learned
nothing.
I have not learned one thing. So it does take patience and it does take knowing somebody, but there are people out there who know how to train, and it's not always an age thing. It's not always an age thing, because I know people younger than I am who struggle more than I do. In terms of using the computer and just using basic things. But what we can't do is shut down on the opportunity that we may have, or shut down on the fact that, this is not going away.
Right.
This is not going away. So we have to do something. We have to be able to embrace those things. And we also talked about what are some of the roadblocks for people who have difficulty being open or difficulty um, changing, and we talked about the fear,
Mm-hmm.
the fear that's there, um, fear
And
that
that's a
we,
big one.
yeah,
That's a biggie.
yeah, and it's in different areas because it's not just the fear of not understanding it.
Mm-hmm.
It is the fear that if I don't understand it, that my value is
Mm-hmm.
diminished. You know, that nobody thinks that if they have to take too much time with me to show me something or teach me something, that diminishes
Mm-hmm.
my value, and that is something that we definitely
Don't
don't want,
want to do.
and we don't want to feel that, because let me tell you, y'all better understand.
Uh-oh. You see that finger, y'all?
Y'all better understand. We got wisdom.
There you go. Come on, come on, Andrea. Come on, tell them, because that's right.
We
That's
got
right.
wisdom.
That's right.
There's a commercial that comes on, and it's an insurance commercial, and he says something about, I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. There's some things that life teaches
Teachers.
you better than anything else and better than anyone else. So whatever age bracket you fall into, wherever you are when you are looking at this, understand, take take time with someone older than you, because they don't have to necessarily be a senior citizen. They don't
True.
necessarily have to be over 50 years old. But I'm telling you, the more you live, the more life you are able to experience, the more information you get up
Mhm.
here, and the more you can help to move the next generation
True.
along. So when you're open, when you're experiencing things, when you are watching change and seeing things like that, I tell you what, there's a wealth of wisdom that is deposited in you that you can share,
Yes.
that will help. Everybody doesn't feel that they have to fall down the rabbit hole in order to get the lesson.
True. But you said a key word.
Mm-hmm.
Share.
Share.
When you learn something, people want to keep it to themselves sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of sharing,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know what you're sharing will help somebody.
That's right.
It may
That's
not
right.
be the person you're talking to or whoever you're dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
but somebody's going to get something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to help them. So yeah, and that goes in any aspect of
Right.
life.
Absolutely.
Not, any aspect. Sharing.
Absolutely. One of the old things that we talked about was offense.
Ooh. Mm.
When, as we go into the New Year's, we end up this year, um, one of the key things that breaks us apart is being offended and then not dealing with the offense. And when we were talking about the family and strengthening the family and all of that, communication was so key. And I think almost everybody who weighed in said something about communication. And you can't communicate when you're offended.
Right. True.
You won't be truthful if you're offended. And sometimes you just got to pick your battles.
Yeah.
Because everything does not deserve a response.
Yes, I've been told that. I have. I've been told that. Somebody talking to me.
Were a last word, Lucy? Was
Yes,
that you?
yes. Honestly, yes, that was. And with taking offense, also became defensive.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why you really don't want to hear it, because number one is the truth,
Mm-hmm.
and it hurts.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to deal with it. But you're right. We have to let that go in order to be able to receive, to be able to move forward.
Right. And that, I think um, that's one of the things that, and we're not going to talk about this at length, but that's one of the things that breaks us when it comes to church. Um, Somebody will say something to your church, and you'll leave the church. And sometimes eventually leave your relationship with the Father because of it. And somebody offends you at work, you still go.
You sure do. Sure
You know,
do.
you need your paycheck. So, you get over it, you
Mhm.
figure out a way to get by it. But sometimes we have to do the same thing when it comes to family,
Mhm.
and discussions that we have, that the issue of truth and transparency and being open in our communication is key. But we cannot walk away offended
Mhm.
all the time. Sometimes that's the best
At
road to
that time.
travel.
At that time.
But I think, as time passes, you have to get to that space of dealing with
With it.
it in some way. I always laugh about the feud between the Hatfields and the McCoys, and they talk about that all the time. These two families feuded for years. They feuded to the point where they didn't even know what
Why they would.
started it. And sometimes you're offended and you don't speak to people for years and you don't have any relationship with them, and you sit down and think, why, what happened,
I
and
was
you
there.
can't remember.
Me and my sister didn't speak for 25 years.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yes, ma'am. And I had no idea why. I would go to my mother. I would cry. I could understand why me at 20. It took my mother's. We started speaking when my mother passed away.
Wow. Did you talk about why?
My sister was one of those open. She, felt she didn't have to,
Explain.
explain herself, And I went to my mother about it. My mother said, jealous. I said, jealous of what? My sister was an introvert,
Okay.
and so she didn't socialize a lot. She didn't have, a lot of friends. But later on, she did. After we talked and everything, we became good. She came to me. She said, I just want to thank you for never judging me.
Wow.
So she was
Wow.
doing things that she ain't had no business doing. But I was not. I was living in Maryland. But the fact is, 25 years. I mean, that's 25 years we lost. I mean, we a year apart.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so I understand. Like I said, the offense, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, and because I was one that I could hold a grudge as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I ain't holding a grudge for no 25 years. But God had to deal with me with those grudges, because those grudges, you're not hurting nobody but yourself. And
Right.
and I had to learn what forgiveness was. Forgiveness is not for them. Forgiveness is for you, so
Right.
that you can move on. Because they out there laughing, kicking and having it. They ain't thinking about you, and you sitting here holding on to this stuff, and this stuff is eating you up. So you're right. Yes, offense. Yeah.
Yep. It's a
Yeah.
big one. It's a
Mhm.
big one. Y'all remember that, and you're trying to stay open and trying to close out this year. You're right. Deal with those offenses.
right.
Get past them, and it may just be you getting past
Mhm.
them. The idea is for you to be healthy,
Right.
for you to be
Be
whole.
whole. Mhm.
And sometimes you can help somebody else, and sometimes it's got to be all you.
Yep.
And you got to be okay with that,
Yes.
because you need to be healthy and whole.
Mhm.
And if I put it out there, and however forgiveness works, and it's interesting to me, because sometimes we go to people and we're in a mode to forgive them. They don't even realize or recognize the fact that they ever offended you.
Mhm.
You're forgiving them for something, and you're walking away
Mhm.
feeling great.
Mhm.
And that person is left thinking, what the heck just happened?
Yeah. Yes.
What in the world?
Yes.
But we have to be mindful of that, is we
Mhm.
are being open and changing our mindset on some things, that some things are for you.
Mhm.
And while they may affect other people, you may not get the response from them that you
You're
think
looking
you
for.
should, or that you
Mhm.
want. That could happen.
True.
We're looking at the P. Of course, pray. We got to pray. You're going
That's
out of
a
this
big
year,
one.
going into the new year, go in with God. Close it out with
With
God,
God,
and
yes.
allow God to speak. If you are not giving yourself enough time in your prayer time and devotion time to sit quietly and listen to his voice, make that one of the change. Be open to that change in your relationship with Christ, that you give him time to speak. He's got something to say. He is yet speaking. He's talking to you all the time. And I remember the first time that I with my big bad self said, Father, I am seeking your face and I want to hear from you. And I'm not hearing anything. And I need you to talk to me. And I need you to tell me what to do. And I need. And he very quietly and very softly whispered to me, I'm speaking all the time.
You just
I'm
can't hear
speaking
him.
all the time.
I mean,
I couldn't hear him because I was too busy talking.
Mhm.
I needed some stuff. He was God. Some things
Right.
needed to happen. But when I got to that place in that space of saying, you know what, I just need to be still.
Mhm.
Let me just be still and listen for his voice. And he never fails. And when I don't hear him, I know to keep doing what I'm doing,
Mhm.
keep going the way I'm going, because he's going to show me what he needs to show me when I need to see it.
Mhm.
Not before,
Mhm.
not lagging behind,
Right.
but he's right on time. So that's one thing. We've got to be positive,
Mhm.
and we can turn some things around.
Mhm.
We can turn some things around. We don't have to accept everything as it comes to us. We need to sometimes stop and think about that E thing. And I know we talked about praise being
Mhm.
an important part of the P part, but that E, that empathy. Um, I have got to be able to step back and say, maybe she's just having a bad day.
Mhm. Mhm.
I've got to be able to step back and put myself in somebody else's shoes and say, that may not have even been for me.
Right.
That may not, they may not have even intended
Mhm.
for it to be that way, especially if somebody's doing something that is out of character
Mhm.
for them,
Mhm.
to be able, because we have no idea the battles
People
people
are fighting.
fight
That's right. That's so
and the
true.
things that they face
Mhm.
on a day-to-day
That
basis.
is so true.
And we still are at a place of thinking it's all about us, and it's not about us. It's not about us. The things that were said were not necessarily said to you, for you, but
Mhm.
it could be something that I'm harboring, something that
Mhm.
I'm feeling about a situation that has absolutely nothing to do with you.
Right.
So we want to be encouraging. And in order to be encouraging, we got to have empathy. We got to put ourselves in somebody else's shoes and say, you know what, there before the grace of God go I. You were talking about judgment,
Mhm.
and it is so prevalent when we look at people who are homeless,
Mhm.
who are
Woo.
without a job, or what. We always feel they could have done better. They should have done better. They should have fixed this. They should have fixed that.
And
And
that ain't
the
always the case.
reality of it is, maybe they tried.
Mhm.
Maybe it didn't work. And I don't
Right.
know who it is. Somebody said half of us are only one paycheck away,
Yes. But that's
from
true.
being homeless, but being hungry for all of those things. Angie says to discern. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That is something that is very important as well, and it comes along with that wisdom piece.
Yes.
With that wisdom, our discernment is heightened in a lot of ways and in
Mhm.
a lot of areas.
But
Go
with
ahead.
that too,
Mhm.
I remember for 3 weeks, and it was in around February, and I was without heat. My electricity had went out for 3 weeks, and I couldn't take a shower. I
No
had
hot
to.
water.
I mean, I had to put my under the covers. I had a hat on, gloves, and all that. And I went to God about it. I didn't complain because I felt it was something that God was teaching me.
Hmm.
And the thing about it was, how you complain about this, and that, and the other. And the lesson that I got out of it was that you see the people that's out in the street, cold, don't have this, don't have that. Now you know what it feels like. It was
Mm.
like I was in their shoes
Right.
to to,
Wow.
to understand that, and
Hmm.
that's what I got out of that. So I said that was something I could, would never complain about, even when I didn't have air conditioning for 3 years. I made it do. I didn't complain because I always try to see what is it. It's other people that are dealing, with the
Hmm.
same thing, and
Hmm.
and so you never know when you see them people out on the street. So if I have a dollar or two, and I give it to myself, now what they do with it is on them.
Right.
It has nothing to do with me,
Exactly.
you know. And then
Exactly.
I'll say a prayer, you know, God bless them or whatever. Because like you said, we don't know, you know, we're so quick to judge or quick to say what they're not doing, and we have no clue, none.
And the education that a lot of the people have, who are, you know, street people, things happen in their
In
lives.
life.
There are losses that they have difficulty recovering from. It There's so many things. It's so many things, and God knows. You know, He knows. And the prayers that we pray, uh, Lord, help me to see what I can do. Help me to see what I can say. Help me to see what my part may be in this situation and understand if I have no part.
Gotcha.
Because sometimes, I mean, I have had instances and circumstances where I was trying to do things and trying to help and trying to make things right and trying. And God said to me, "You are in my way." Oh my. And I will never forget that. And I thought, what? I mean, what? I thought this was supposed to be. I thought I was supposed to help. I thought I was supposed to do something. And what he said to me was, I am trying to do something in that individual's life that I can't do because you continue to bail them out, because you continue to help, because you're in my way. And that's something else that we have to remember, particularly as we look at our family members, our siblings, co-workers, whatever, anybody that we are interacting with, anybody that we have a relationship with. Just like God has a plan for your life and my life, he has a plan for theirs.
That's right.
They're his.
Exactly.
They're not mine. God has granted me the opportunity to take care of and nurture and love and take care of a child, a person, an individual that he put in my path as my assignment.
Right.
But they're not mine. They're not mine.
True that.
They belong to him. And he has an assignment for them that I know not of.
Right.
There is something that he wants them to do, just like we stand and say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and marvelous are his works. And they're saying the same thing. They're fearfully and wonderfully made. They are unique. They are handcrafted. They are by his design. They are by his order. And there's something that he has for them to do that you can't do.
Correct.
Just like he has something for you to do that they can't.
Exactly. Ooh, you're right.
You know?
And I've heard that. I've been told that. I got them. You take care of you. But you think that you helping them. You want to bail them out. And I have to come to the realization. And I know God was laughing when I was talking to him. I said, what makes me think that I can do it better than you?
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because he done gave you instructions. I got them. Take care of you. But here you to the rescue. You know, like
trying to be,
you know, like you think you got a bit. Oh, really? Oh, so you could okay? Well, then let me step back and let you handle it then. You know, and I had to laugh because I mean, I said, Francine, who you think you are? Now you could do it better than God, huh?
Who is it? Somebody said that, you know, he doesn't need a PR person.
He sure don't.
He doesn't need somebody to say, oh, well, you know, this is the way this should be. This is the way that should be. No. We need to seek his face, hear his voice, and do what he says for us to do. And as difficult as it may be sometimes, when he says, take your hands off, take your hands
That's what he
off.
means.
He means exactly that, because he has the ultimate plan. Let me see what Angie said here. Have to know your assignment. Every assignment is not yours. No, absolutely, right. Absolutely, Angie. And Pastor Gloria says His plan is his plan and not ours. Absolutely.
True.
Absolutely.
So true.
Now, these are things that we all need to be tucking away. We all need to be putting them somewhere because they are going to come up.
Yes.
Because life comes up and the storms of life come up and the tests of life come up. And we can't control that. There's some things that are going to happen, and they're going to happen because God deems them to be so that he can put us where he wants us, so that he can bless us like he wants to bless us. Hallelujah. Because it is not his intent to withhold any good thing from us. Hallelujah. And that's where we are. Now we got to our end and we said, what are two things? Two things that talked about in the big thing was negativity. Got to shift that thinking. Shift the stinking thinking, as somebody says. We've got to move away from those things that are negative, those situations that are negative, those people that are negative, the communication that is negative. If it's not God, if it doesn't feel good, and hey, leave it alone. Leave it alone, because God's not going to keep piling negative stuff on you. So let's do something about the negativity.
Check your circle.
Yeah. Oh,
check your circle.
Girl, tell me. Yeah.
Check your
gotta
circle.
do it. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. And once you have checked your circle, if it needs adjusting, don't keep looking at it.
For real, right?
Adjust it.
That's right. You can't fix it.
Adjust it. And God
don't feel sorry for them.
Yes. And God is going to. Pastor Gloria says, stay away from toxicity.
That's right.
Absolutely. That is not God's intent. That is not God's desire for our lives. And we have to be careful about that. But here is, and this is going to be the final thing that we're going to say tonight. But one of the things that Francina said, she's laughing, and I had to laugh when she said it, but it is so true. It is so powerful. You think they're ready?
I think they're ready.
You think they're ready? Okay. Be nice.
Yes.
Just be nice. It doesn't take much.
No, it does not.
Nice. It doesn't take much to have a kind word. It doesn't take much in your understanding that, this person has a life and problems and struggles and trials and tests, just like I do. What is it to just say something nice? And I find it in the store all the time. When you get that checker that is just and you just look at him and say, gee, I hope you have a better day.
I say it's going to be all right.
Whatever it is, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You don't have to have what is it? Joyce Meyer says it all the time. You don't have to have a big Bible and a Jesus picture.
That's right.
You just
bumper sticker.
Bumper sticker.
You don't need all that.
You don't need that. Just be nice.
Because you being nice may change somebody's day. Somebody might have been contemplating suicide because they felt that people didn't care, whatever. But you being nice to them may have them have second thoughts. Maybe I am about something. Maybe I do mean something to somebody. So like you said, it don't take much, but that nice can change somebody's life.
Absolutely. Being nice, being kind doesn't take a lot, and especially during this season. And we're going to close with this. But during this season, let's look at the gifts that money can't buy.
Yes.
Okay.
Love.
Patience. Not being frustrated, so easily frustrated with one another.
Noble.
Being open, being truthful, being honest, having integrity.
Yes.
Those things don't cost you nothing, but it can make a tremendous difference, not only in somebody else's life,
but your own,
but in yours as well. Yours as well.
Yes.
So I hope that you all got something out of our conversation tonight. Gloria says, be nice, even if you have to have to do it by faith.
Yes.
But I tell you what, I hope you have. We're glad that you were with us tonight. Glad that you
Yes.
could be a part of the conversation. Bernice says
That's
compliment
right.
someone can chase his or her day.
Yes.
You are absolutely
Yes.
right, Bernice. And how much does it take for me to turn over and say, Francina, you look good, girl. That
Now
red
say,
is rocking.
ooh, thank you, honey. Ooh, that made me feel good
Yeah,
too.
I tell
Right
you
in my
what.
shana now.
Well, we hope you have enjoyed our time here at When Life Speaks. I tell you what, God always has something planned. He always has something good. And I hope you come back next week, because next week we are going to finish our conversation about strengthening the family. We had some good nuggets that came, particularly about children and how we're dealing with our children in the family setting. Thank you so much, Angie, and
Truly
thank you for
appreciate
being
it.
faithful and coming on. So look, guys, you have an amazing weekend. Have an amazing start to your week next week. We will be right back here. Francina won't be with me, but my co-host Lynn will be with me. And I just want you to come back.
Yes.
I want you to turn down the volume of life when you get here and be ready to receive, because when life speaks,
You speak life.
Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.